Hey, Daddy's gonna go to China tomorrow, and you're gonna go stay with Grandma and Granddad. Isn't that exciting? It'll be like your own little vacation. Oh, my little buddy. Do something cute for the camera. Do something cute. Very good. You're gonna get a workout, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. Work the muscles.
Woo. Good boy.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was just like interviewed by like a lot of these reporters or something for like some kind of Chinese TV channel. They give me like a lot of gifts of like this plushie, the scarf. I don't know why. That's nice. I like it. I'm keeping the scarf.
My flight to Shenyang took 13 hours to go to Beijing and then another few hours to get from Beijing to Shenyang. It was mostly a smooth process except for the woman sitting next to me calling her mom in China, threatening to call the police on the man in front of her because he accidentally hit her with his suitcase. Yes, really.
No. Where are they? Oh my.
I arrived in Shenyang finally in the morning and Sarah met me at the airport.
儿子，你挡住我了。我也看到了。
She made this adorable welcome sign for me. Felt great coming in. I also met her cousin, their husband, and their kid. They were all lovely people, even if I could barely speak Chinese to them. Shenyang is a very interesting city design-wise. You get a lot of that brutalist communist block architecture that I know all too well, but just with a lot more color and advertising than some other examples. Kind of reminds me of some parts of northern Italy. You kind of see the style pop up there sometimes.
It's a theater.
Oh, like an opera house?
It's a river.
Oh.
There's a ship by the side. In the summertime, you can boating.
What's the name of the river?
浑河, Huan River.
浑河.
After taking a photo of myself in Sarah's graduation hat, we went to get some traditional Chinese food. KFC.
What are those? What are those? So walking back now, we got our groceries for tonight. Babe, how cold is it?
I guess it's about minus 2 to 3 Celsius. Not very.
Still too cold.
I know.
Afterwards, we went out for dinner with Sarah's family, and it had this pretty nifty rotating table with a lot of food. I also tried Snow beer. Snow is the biggest beer brand in China, and I can see why. It's pretty good. I and several of the adult men got inebriated enough to start discussing politics, which actually went pretty well. But before Sarah's uncle could ask about World War II, Sarah put a stop to it, probably for the best.
It's our tradition.
Oh.
So we burn those paper cash where the people died. We believe those money gonna goes to the people passed away, and they can have some money to buy whatever they need. It's a good wish.
The next morning, Sarah's mom and I went to a live seafood market. It was the day of Chinese New Year, so it was pretty cramped and busy, and overall pretty overwhelming.
Oh no, what are you doing? Get back in. Come on, you got this. Freedom. Oh.
Later that day, Sarah's family started arriving for New Year's dinner.
Babe, how many courses are there so far on the table?
20.
And you said
There's a fish, a chicken coming.
there's more coming? It is 6:17 p.m. We are walking to get some dessert, and it is super quiet out because everyone's celebrating Chinese New Year's.
And unfortunately, they closed also.
The bakery?
Yeah, the bakery.
Yeah. That's...
Oh no!
Evan, how could you do this to us, Evan? How could you do this?
After we got some dessert and more beer, Sarah's dad showed off his incredible mahjong table.
Magic.
And we also took part in the time-honored New Year's tradition, vegging out on the couch watching the New Year's celebration. I had a lot of fun for New Year's celebration. I chatted a lot, or as much as I could, with Sarah's family. I got to see a cool martial arts demonstration with robots on the TV, which was pretty cool. But I gotta say, after a few days, everyone setting off firecrackers in your neighborhood could be a bit much.
This car looks really pissed off at me. Stop staring at me. Buddy, please, leave me alone.
Given the amount of food we were eating this trip, I decided to start taking morning walks. Nothing was open this morning due to New Year's, but it felt good to move about. I saw some fun things out and about.
Is that Mickey Mouse cigarettes? Are those Michael Rat ciggies?
Also, while out today, I learned the rules of the road here.
Brother, what the hell are you doing, brother? It's the middle of the road, brother. What are you doing? That one turned red too?
Yeah, so basically it's anyone's game out here. The pedestrians kind of walk when they want to, and even the scooters and motorcyclists can drive on a sidewalk. It reminded me a lot of Bardi in Italy, actually. It's a big city design, countryside town road approach, if you understand what I mean. Though Sarah did teach me how to yell, "Are you blind?" in Chinese. Later that day, we went to a shopping complex called Joy City. It's got a variety of different stores, from fashion to tech to TV merch. Naturally, I was interested in figures, you know me. We did see some cool statues and, of course, the American Embassy. There were also some pretty nice food stands ranging from Chinese-style pancakes and waffles to a lot more meaty dishes, but the food I remember the most? Silkworms. So story time. Silkworms were everywhere for sale in Shenyang, and since getting into a lot more hardcore Chinese cooking, I've eaten some pretty crazy stuff. A lot more organ meats, but I tend not to mind, honestly. Eating bugs, on the other hand, I took one bite, thought it was okay, but then the gooey center hits your mouth and you realize, oh god, I've eaten this. There was another guy there, and he clearly saw I was a tourist trying this weird food and started laughing like, aha, tourist. And I just stared him dead in the eyes and ate the rest, just shoveling them in. I ain't taking that. Sarah and I made a brief stop at Toys R Us, and yes, they aren't dead in China, and picked up some pretty cool figures. Later that night, there was fireworks right outside our window, quite literally.
Right over here, look.
Wow! This is our building.
Yeah.
Nice. Pretty. Pretty.
And afterwards, Sarah's aunt and I went to get some more beer for the party, and time for another story. Sarah's apartment building is by a near identical building, and when we went inside after climbing 6 flights of stairs, I realized we were in the wrong building. I tried multiple times to tell her, but to no luck. Even once we were on the 6th floor, I knew it was wrong because the door had decorations, and Sarah's family didn't put decorations on theirs. Auntie called Sarah wondering why they weren't opening, and I told Sarah, "We are in the wrong building." Sarah explained it to her in Chinese, and I don't remember what Sarah's aunt said, but I can only assume it was the equivalent of, "Well, why didn't you say anything?" Sarah's aunt was really nice, but I had to climb up and down 6 flights of stairs. I get the right just to be a little angry. I do like walking around. This town actually has everything in close proximity, and thankfully some of the signage does allow for decent landmark recognition. Though I will say this one convenience store I went to had a jingle that would play whenever someone entered. And I'd have to hear that over and over and over again. I also walked by a pretty neat little temple and some terrifying furniture.
I just realized on the keys for getting back into the apartment. It's a veggie peeler.
After I got home, it was time for a bit of a drive in a taxi. Sarah and her mom and I went for a walk through town, and it started with this abandoned building that looked almost new.
Really? It looks like it's in decent condition.
They don't have enough money to finish the rest of the park, so they just leave it there
Ah,
to stop the loss.
that's such a shame.
Yeah, I know. The video looks so pretty.
Again, going through Shenyang, it's so crazy to me that kind of concrete block architecture that was so popular in the 60s is on full display, and you just don't get that in a lot of places anymore. Probably for the better, but still fascinating. We got some candied fruit on a stick, which isn't my thing, but Sarah loves them. And after a bit of walking, we stopped by a New Year's festival in the center of town. It was a lot of fun with lots of food vendors, some fun activity booths, and live music. Afterwards, we stopped by Sarah's grandma's house for a bit of a rest. And then we went to another restaurant, this one being part of a hotel several floors up in the sky and featuring even more people and even more food. I wasn't able to catch all of it, but my new uncle gave a bit of a speech. After a meal like that, I needed a big walk, so I went about quite a bit and ended up at a nearby mall. There were some pretty cool shops, a movie theater, an arcade. I had to come back with Sarah later on. Also, I encountered this Russia store. Have a listen to the music. Later that day, Sarah's cousin picked us up to take us to dinner. He had a big fancy electric car with voice-activated features that refused to work. Then there was dinner where everything was delicious and served in these rotating pots. But something else impressive happened. A lot. And I mean a lot of drinking. It started with this stuff, baijiu, which is a grain alcohol that was something like 50% alcohol by volume. It came in a fancy plastic case and it felt like I was drinking a Sharpie. Like if you melted down a ton of Sharpies, it'd somehow taste like this. I almost thought it was Muay Thai, which is this very famous and very powerful Chinese liquor, which my buddy Hebel from New Zealand warned me about. And there was a ton of beer. Like, I don't know how much I drank, but I think I drank about 6 or 7 pints of beer. And it was strong beer too, so yay. I was completely out of it. Now, thankfully, I'm not an angry drunk, embarrassing drunk, or a political drunk, but I was still completely knocked out, and I wanted to go to bed. But first, we had to stop by Sarah's grandmother's house, and thankfully she let me take a rest in her bed, and that was wonderful. But then Sarah and her mom started arguing about something, and I didn't get a single wink in. When we finally got home, I had to walk up 6 flights of stairs, bumping up against the wall like a pinball. I finally got to bed. Apparently, I became something of a hero that night, and even Sarah's mom apparently complimented me on my ability to hold my liquor and still fairly function. And I'm glad, but I'm never drinking that much again. So I managed to find this creepy abandoned mall. I wandered about a bit farther than usual and found some people dressing up and parading around town, which was pretty cool. I saw a statue of Nudja and bizarrely a Tim Hortons coffee. Also in Joy City, there's this movement statue. It's just the cutest thing ever. Sarah was seeing her friends that day, so it was just me, her parents, her uncle, and auntie. So we opted for a bit of Korean barbecue, which was quite delicious. I'm always a sucker for Korean barbecue, and this had some great stuff. When Sarah came back, we walked a bit ourselves and stopped by a shop to pick up some stuff to bring home. Mostly a lot of very cute bowls, but I did see some delightful knockoff toys. Sarah, her mom, and I went to morning market, and even on the cold winter mornings, everyone's going around and selling all sorts of crazy food. And there was some very tasty stuff. Sarah and I opted for some nice pancakes full of meat and veggies. Also, there was a machine spinning hazelnuts. Hazelnuts are Sarah's hometown specialty, and we brought back a ton. Nothing too crazy happened this morning, but in the evening, we had probably the biggest gathering of relatives up to that point. We even got a big photo together. But I will say, I was starting to feel the burn of all these big meals, and even Sarah was a bit exhausted. Especially because, bless her, her dad made dumplings almost every morning, and I went to town on them, but also, help. We both agreed we'd take it easy tomorrow, especially because Sarah was meeting some of her college friends tomorrow. Oh! Since it was just me that morning, I went on another figure hunt. I found some pretty cool shops. I had a limited budget and limited space in our suitcase, so I've been very selective. But today I found some really good ones. A Gundam model kit, a Gao Gaigar model kit, and a metal card bot, which was pretty rad. Also of note, Sarah invited me to join her college buddies for her lunch. I took a taxi to get to her. By the way, taxis in China are crazy cheap, and the taxi man saw I was American, and I think he had me help his kid with his English homework. Take a look.
行，谁呀？
你说吧。
Hello.
Hello,
Where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles,
What's your name?
California.
为什么呢呀？
你跟他对嘛，就是说在那个美国的，他是加利，我都听明白了，他是加利福尼亚的客人，对吧？
应该对吧？
应该对，你再跟他继续啊。你说你坐爷爷的车去哪里？
不会呀。
不会了。
What are you doing?
I'm going to a shop to buy toys, and I'm visiting my wife's family.
By the way, remember how I said Sarah and I wouldn't eat too much? Yeah, no, there was a big buffet when I got there. I would say I've been betrayed, but I ate all the dumplings. Later that night, I went with Sarah's folks to a mini hot pot restaurant, which you gotta see how this works. Both people get their own pot and the ingredients are brought around on a little conveyor belt. And the hot pots, how are they brought?
英哥，你吃啥呀？你过来，你吃我这儿的，我完事儿了。
We all went out for a bit of skiing. It was more of a beginner-friendly hill, so for a brief moment, I may have been the best skier on the mountain.
Okay. Okay. 走啊！
All right, let's go. Woo! Run, baby, run! A little snow, come on. I was recording the whole way down. My hand's cold. I'm turning it off.
Sarah's improved a lot over the past year. So proud of my darling.
She comes. Oh. Got it. Woo! Nice.
All the way down.
Go for it. Look at him go.
I hope they'll get easy.
Oh. Thank God the lake is thick.
So got some cool video of the countryside.
I know a movie theater.
We also had a big old meal for dinner, and afterwards, Sarah and I went shopping a bit. I had some fun with a tech display. Sarah was out most of the day, leaving me home alone. So I went out for a bit of figure shopping. I found some pretty neat shops, but I didn't end up buying anything, mostly because I had limited funds. Later that night, Sarah's mom, her dad, aunt, and uncle, and I all went out for barbecue. But just as neat, if not neater, Sarah's mom kinda acted like a tour guide on the way home, giving me some very useful notes on WeChat, and I used the translation function. It was mostly really helpful, and it was really fun to see her enthusiasm. Also, we saw a bit of a late night exercise group. I was sick with a cold that morning. Blech.
It's Pizza Hut robot. Oh, I've seen these. If you stand in front of it, it makes a sad face like, please get out of my way. I'm not gonna do that, but it's cute.
Later that night, Sarah and I went to an arcade where we had a lot of fun. We got particularly addicted to a ball pusher game where we won quite a bit of prizes. I wanted to get an Ultraman action figure, but that would have required 5 tubs of balls.
Nice! Woo! That's my girl. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
I think you pick that one. It is the, you know, those type of machine whenever you like accumulate more than 20 times, it get very tight claw. But we somehow missed that chance. I see this, it didn't go soft. You see it?
I saw it.
Later that night, Sarah's family visited again and brought Sarah's nephew. So I gave the little guy a Studio Series Optimus Prime figure as a gift, and he loved it. But apparently he was a bit rough with it on the way out and snapped his head off in the driveway, so they had to scurry about in the dark, cold winter night to try and find it. That's family dedication to you, I'll tell you what. Sick again this morning. Blech. But that night we went to a hot spring and I absolutely needed it considering how sick I've been these past few days. It did well to clear my sinuses. Big TVs in the bath and they were playing news about the then recent military action in Iran. And I gotta say, being the only American in a giant bathhouse full of naked Chinese men while there's news reports about American intervention makes for quite an uncomfortable situation. Apparently the women's side were playing Journey to the West, which I've seen, I loved, and I wish I was watching that instead. Also, we ate hot pot for dinner.
So seeds go in here, get ground up, turn into delicious sesame paste.
Very strong sesame smell.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sarah's birthday was today and we opted to go to a large swap meet style market to shop about. Sarah wanted to grab another suitcase to take back as well. I was thinking of grabbing some figures, but they were mostly bootlegs and the suitcases were already pretty full. That evening, Sarah and I spent some time together and celebrated her birthday in style with cake, lots of ribs, and a large hot pot.
你生日，祝你生日快乐，日快乐，祝你生日快乐。
我的小公主生日快乐！
谢谢。许愿。
We ended up eating quite a bit, and in my case, too much, because I ended up with a balloon belly and feeling quite sick. We were all packing, and Sarah and her mom were fully in control of everything. I offered to help, but I knew I would be rejected because when they have a vision, they don't need a fool like me to ruin it. Still, I packed as much as I could in my bags. That night at 2:30 in the morning, however, I got violently sick and threw up in the bathroom sink, probably due to the heavily oily and fatty meats. Especially not fun because I had to clean up everything and flush everything and make it seem like nothing happened. On the plus side, I was a lot less bloated afterwards. Sarah and I went to the September 18th museum. It wouldn't feel right without going to one museum out here, and thankfully it was a rather nice museum in terms of presentation. Not so nice in terms of subject matter, however. September 18th was the day Imperial Japan committed a false flag incident to justify occupation of the Liaoning region, which became known as Manchukuo or Manchuria under their rule. What astonished me was all the books and propaganda made to make the occupation seem normal, including cigarette advertising. I find entertainment and advertising made under dictatorships or oppressive regimes fascinating as it often feels so divorced from reality, and for a comparison with modern times, it's amazing how a lot of Japan's reasoning from back then echoes a lot of Russia's excuses for invading Ukraine and supposedly liberating Donbass and Crimea. It was a very morbid and grisly place. Slightly dampened by a woman trying to flirt with me and making kissing noises right in the middle of the room talking about Unit 731. Afterwards, we went for a cab ride to the mall. It might have been the scariest cab ride I've ever gone on. Constantly swerving, getting too close to come to other cars, and seemingly squeezing into anything he felt. Midway through while driving, the man got a pack of cigarettes lit up and offered me one. I respectfully declined, and afterwards I grasped Sarah wanting some solid ground. After that, Sarah and I watched a martial arts movie. I couldn't understand it because it had no subtitles, but the plot was reasonably easy to follow. It was about former assassins being tasked with guarding. I think was a princess with a squeaky voice. And a lot of fights happening. It was pretty fun, but rather concerning was there were two small children next to us, and the film features many decapitations and dismemberment, and these kids were about 7 or 8 years old. We went home afterwards, ate some Korean barbecue. We ate pretty well, but given what happened that morning, I kept very careful. That evening and morning were very heartfelt, emotional goodbyes to Sarah's parents. Even though I hardly spoke the same language, they took care of us like we were still just kids. I'm going to miss them. We had a wonderful time in China. Maybe not the most extravagant of vacations, but it felt very down to earth while still feeling very new and exciting. Many people go to Beijing or Shanghai for the more touristy aspects, and that's something I'm not as into. The real fun of being on vacation is going somewhere where you can get a little lost, experience the people and surroundings that aren't dolled up for the tourists. Shenyang can be a rough city in many regards, from a lot of dirt, driving rules that feel like they were made up as they went along. But for me, it was a massive pleasure still. I felt very comfortable and inviting. It reminded me a lot of Bardi in Italy, a town where a lot of my relatives live in. The same kind of not the most polished but still very welcoming attitude. Hopefully I can come again very soon and experience some new stuff. Maybe next time we can go to Beijing or some of the more obscure areas. You never know.